Welcome to New Sky TV, Explosive. Guo Yuxin's rise to fame is truly astounding. The more you dig, the more surprising it becomes. And what's even more outrageous is that this is just the beginning. What's really making the industry uneasy is that Guo Yuxin's comeback story has almost always treaded on the Achilles heel of the short drama industry. Further investigation reveals that her rise wasn't about climbing the social ladder, but rather about precise casting and exceptional execution. From Summer of Fender onwards, she made her stance clear. She wouldn't play the safe role, only tackling high-difficulty emotional storylines. Contractual marriages, emotional games, the tug-of-war between reason and desire. She was practically walking a tightrope in every scene. Especially the rainy night confrontation scene, where a single glance shifted from cold and hard to out of control, and the comments section was flooded with, "This isn't acting, it's an emotional collapse." But in the summer of August, she completely shed the CP-dependent label. Without Liu Xiaoxu's support, and without her familiar comfort zone, she instead twisted the character's vulnerability and aggression into a fierce strength. She said she didn't care, but then her eyes welled up with tears. She was clearly hurt beyond repair, yet she insisted on smiling and putting on a brave face. This forced dignity female image precisely struck a chord with the most hidden points of resonance among today's audience. Therefore, the 2 billion views weren't achieved through hype, but through viewers watching episode by episode. Then look at Meteor Shower, the revenge-driven female lead. To be honest, the chances of a mishap are extremely high. One wrong move and it could become an over-the-top darkening template, but Guo Yuxin did the opposite. She hid her hatred extremely deep. Not hysterical, but frighteningly calm. Why did that scene of her squatting on the steps eating a boxed lunch in the leaked photos captivate netizens? Because it was so real. That wasn't the actress performing, it was the character breathing. More importantly, she possesses a very rare quality. Even when the camera isn't focused on her, she can draw it in. Not relying on exaggerated expressions, not relying on piled-up lines, not even relying on filters. With the added benefit of a 4K close-up, her performance remained remarkably stable. The more her eyes focused, the clearer her emotions became. The industry had already begun reassessing her commercial value. From her initial status as a dark horse in short dramas to now being closely watched by platforms as a promising actress, Guo Yuxin's progress has been slow but incredibly solid. She doesn't fight for top billing or create a persona, yet she consistently makes her presence felt through her roles. The most ironic thing is that those who predicted she would fade away from Liu Xiaoxu have proven wrong. Looking back now, it seems like a joke. True strength never relies on anyone else. It's not about rising to the top, but about being able to stand firm even after leaving anyone. Ultimately, Guo Yuxin's phenomenal comeback is because it exposes a harsh truth. Short dramas aren't a fallback for acting skills, but rather a true test of an actor's abilities. Whether she'll become popular or not, the audience knows better than anyone, and she's clearly only halfway through this journey. Will she continue her ascent to the top, or face an even more brutal market backlash? No one dares to say for sure. But one thing is certain, this name can no longer be ignored. Because she has never taken the path of opportunism. Those in the know understand that the second female lead in Jade Matte Autumn is not just a pretty face. What's the biggest fear in period drama set in the Republican era? It's the artificiality, the superficiality, and the jarring effect of a classical filter face immediately breaking the immersion. But when Guo Yuxin's behind-the-scenes photos surfaced, the criticisms collectively fell silent. That restrained, dignified, and historically weighty aura cannot be faked. Just standing there silently, she already embodies a well-educated woman of that era, pushed forward by fate. What's even more surprising is her relentless dedication to the role. While others film period dramas, they study makeup, costumes, and blocking. She started by focusing on the details of daily life. Why does a heiress who studied abroad speak at a slower pace? Why is there a habitual scrutiny in her eyes? Why is her piano playing not virtuoso, but incredibly steady? These things aren't in the script, but the audience can immediately sense their nuances. That's why her crying scenes are so powerful. It's not wailing, not a breakdown, but that controlled feeling of barely holding back emotions. Her eyes are red with restraint, and the tears fall very slowly, yet that's precisely what's most torturous. Many viewers only realized this after seeing the behind-the-scenes footage. So, she had previously Her restrained acting in the drama wasn't due to inability, but rather a lack of necessity. Looking back at her path, it's actually very clear-headed. First, she used short dramas to gain recognition and quickly reach an audience. Then, she used hit shows to prove her consistency. And finally, she used serious dramas to demonstrate her versatility. She didn't skip a single step, nor did she falter. The so-called difficulty for short drama actors to make a comeback is never a curse, but rather a selection process. Those who can't overcome it are those who treat short dramas as shortcuts. Those who can are those who truly treat it as a battlefield. Guo Yuxin clearly belongs to the latter. She's not in a hurry to be defined, nor is she in a hurry to refute it. When criticism comes, she uses the next role answers. Once the label is attached, she tears it off with more complex roles. So today, everyone suddenly realizes, the applause didn't come overnight, it just caught up with the path she'd walked. This isn't luck. This is the result of an actress pushing herself step by step to the forefront. And what truly convinces people is her attitude towards these changes. She didn't rush to prove she's leveled up, nor did she deliberately distance herself from her short drama identity. When asked about her transition in an interview, she simply said, "Actors aren't judged by length, but by how serious they are." These words sound light, but they carry great weight. Because she truly did it. You'll find that whether it's a short drama lasting only a few minutes or a more elaborate period drama like Yudai and QIU, her standards have never changed. Preparation in advance, repeated rehearsals, and breaking down emotions to the most minute levels. In one scene, she was just giving a quick glance in the background, but she privately discussed 3 versions of her gaze with the director, ultimately choosing the most restrained one. The reason was simple: women of that era couldn't express their emotions outwardly. It's this control over measure that has allowed her to gradually move beyond being a mere celebrity and focus on the essence of acting. Looking at the changes in public opinion makes it even more interesting. At first, it was, she's only good for short dramas. Later, it became, her acting was quite moving. And now, if she continues on this path, she might really go far. This isn't whitewashing, it's the audience being gradually convinced. The industry is actually very realistic. Platforms don't lack newcomers, and investors don't lack choices. What they lack are actors who, given a position, can steadily hold their ground, given a little space, dare to delve deeply, and who fill that void. Guo Yuxin has precisely found that niche. She doesn't chase trending topics, yet she's constantly mentioned after her works are released. She doesn't create hype, yet she always leaves a lasting impression with her roles. While others are still struggling with whether or not to transform their image, she has already quietly completed it. So now, looking back at those doubts, they seem like footnotes on her resume. Every instance of being underestimated eventually becomes icy. Perhaps after some time, everyone will realize, her true strength isn't the comeback itself, but rather, in the noisy industry, she has always walked with clarity and determination. This path is not fast, but it is steady. And steadiness is often the key to success. At this point, it's clear, Guo Yuxin's success has never been about a single drama, but about time and perseverance. She doesn't rely on a single moment of fame to damage her reputation. Instead, she uses each role as a stepping stone. In short dramas, she captivated audiences with emotional intensity. In serious dramas, she stood firm on screen with a sense of proportion. The more criticism she faced, the more composed she became, digesting all the controversy into her performances. Therefore, you'll find that her popularity isn't a fleeting trend, but a slowly building volume. Without fanfare, she consistently rises. While others are still trapped by labels, she has quietly stepped beyond them. This isn't a miracle, it's an actress who has taken every step correctly. Thank you for watching the video. See you in the next video. Thank you.